Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we're covering something else on Hogwarts Legacy, and that it is getting review bombed because someone simply just doesn't like J.K. Rowling. What a surprise. You'd think you'd have some sort of like fair criticism toward it, but I went and read through this Wired article or this Wired game review by this person over here, and the moment I heard the name, I already knew where this was going. For some reason, when you hear certain names, you just know what type of person is behind them. And when you look at the headline and stuff like that, at first it seems a little bit, innocent. Maybe you just played the game and you didn't like it. But the thing is, as you read into the article, that's where things take a bit of a change. So the rating is 1 out of 10. Help me say goodbye to setting for good. Okay. The story is rooted in anti-Semitic tropes. The gameplay feels dated. The graphics feel like a couple of generations behind. All the characters are one-dimensional. It doesn't stay true to the established lore. Every character feels like an off-brand version of the characters we know. There's no sense of place, no magic and heart. Now, usually, when you read this part, some people may not want to read further into it because if you look at it, there's a lot to unpack over here. And when you look at the picture over there, you can just know what the type of person you're dealing with. So, let's go read some paragraphs from here and then we can obviously make our decisions from there. Now, keep in mind, when you review a video game, the thing that I always look at, in my own personal opinion, is gameplay, story, graphics, that kind of stuff. The things that make a video game. I don't look at the things that are outside of it. That's just the way I am, and I'm sure that's the same for many people. So, I've read through parts of this review, and I'm not going to read all of it because it's a lot, and I don't want to waste too much of your time on unnecessary things. But then I came across this one paragraph over here, which kind of sums up why this game was given a 1 out of 10. Within the pages of her books, she made the ordinary seem extraordinary. She created a place where weird, lonely kids would be told they were special. So somebody over here wants to feel special, obviously. Like, I don't know, I guess their parents must have really hated them. Where kids had survived abuse were more than just fundamentally broken. I do not know where this notion comes from. A lot of the kids that I've met in my job and stuff like that who have come from abusive homes are never told that they're fundamentally broken. They never are told that. A lot of them are pushed into a better environment, one where they are actually shown true love and kindness and are raised to be really bright individuals in the world that go out and do good in the world. Moving back to the article. Since 2019, though, the once beloved children's author, she is still very beloved. This game tells you just how beloved she is. Well, she had some opinions about people like me, and that's where it comes in. This is quite clearly a personal vendetta. When you review something, regardless of who's made it or whatever it is, you should look at the actual substance of the thing you're reviewing, not what your feelings are. And that's what the problem is with today's world. Everybody wants to inject their feelings into everybody, and they expect you, for whatever it is doing, whatever you're doing through your day, to drop it and go then and bow down. Because they feel a certain way, you should now do what they say, or you should think how they tell you to think. You should basically abandon your point of view and follow them because they're special, because they survived abuse. And whether or not we should exist. She's even gone as far to suggest we're inherently dangerous, a threat to real women everywhere. This is a problem with people in this day and age. A lot of people use the English language but don't even know what the words mean. They assign all kinds of meanings to words which have been rooted in the English language since the beginning of it, I suppose, or been around for probably centuries at this point, and all of a sudden they want to change the word because, not because of an actual fact, but because of the way they feel. When I was a kid, every word that flowed from J.K. Rowling's pen wrote magic into my world. But now every word she pours out just hurts my heart. Every homophobic, think queer, blah, 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 voice that follows them for a long time. We hear relatives, friends, and parents say, awful things about us to us. And there we have it. So this person basically has a miserable life. Miserable in the sense that they have a problem with their parents, their friends, their relatives. They have a problem with people disagreeing with them. And then all of a sudden now they are lonely, they are abused, and everybody else is the problem. You know, the thing about life is, if you have a problem with one person, maybe the person's a problem. You have a problem with 2 people or 3 people, maybe they're friends of the person that has a problem and they have a vendetta against you. But when that number starts to go into the double digits, in fact, when the number even hits 5 and above, it's pretty clear it's not everybody else that's a problem. It's you. For a lot of us, we fight these voices every day. Why don't you just go and create your own community? Go somewhere alone. All of you can live happily ever after. Why do you have to come in and invade everybody else's spaces? When one of these voices comes from the author who taught you about accepting yourself, what? A person you... Voldemort... Okay, never mind. A person you thought truly saw you and kids like you. It hurts in a way I honestly hope she never understands. I would not wish it on anyone. So basically, this entire review, these 2 paragraphs over here, is basically the writer's feelings towards J.K. Rowling. It has nothing to do with the game. This entire thing has nothing to do with Hogwarts Legacy. It's just a self-insert into an article so that you want people to do what? All of a sudden listen to your feelings? Here's the thing, which most people need to understand, especially in first world countries, and I say this many a times. The rest of us that are not from first world countries, we have actual problems. There are several hours in the day where we don't have electricity, several hours in the day where we don't have access to water. There are sometimes we don't have access to water for an entire weekend. The water cuts out at Friday night. It comes on, if you're lucky sometimes, on Monday morning. So you have to go out, we have to buy water for drinking. Then there's the issue of using the bathroom, the issue of taking a shower. We have actual problems in where I live. Sometimes electricity goes out for about 6 to 8 hours a day. We don't have electricity. And in that time, the food that you have in your fridge gets spoiled. Last year for December, we had no electricity for 2 weeks. Nothing. We lived in pitch black darkness. All the food that we had went bad. And what's worse, this was around Christmas time. People who had spent their hard-earned money, their bonuses, or whatever it was, getting food for their family, didn't have it for 2 weeks. And this problem plagued an entire city. Or rather, several suburbs in that city. My mistake, everybody. I apologize for that. Thousands of people went without electricity for those 2 weeks. We know what hardship is like. Sometimes you get up in the morning, there's no electricity. That's it. Tough. No matter where you go for about 2 hours or so, there's nothing. Sometimes you get to work, no electricity, and you think you're going to get the day off. No. You now need to make up for those 2 hours because it's been lost. So instead of working 8 hours, sometimes you have to work 10 hours. We have hardship. This is not hardship. This is just your feelings because you're a privileged individual who lives in a privileged world, who has no real problems. I don't hate her. Wow. That's a lie. It would honestly be easier if I did. Inside me somehow there's a kid who still loves her despite everything. That kid has a lot of experience loving people who hurt her. She never asks why. You mean he never asks why. He just wants to know what he did wrong and how he can fix it. It's hard to tell him there's nothing left to fix and that there are places we can't return to. Places like Hogwarts. Listen, asswipe. You don't like the game? Don't play it. You don't like the author? Don't buy it. But then again, you didn't buy it. You probably just got a review code or somebody gave it to you for free. Just a review. You didn't put your own money on the line. You don't have actual problems. When you look at this thing over here, I'm not even going to read the rest of this article because it's just absolute crap going through here. Maybe here and there, they've actually went out and actually spoken about the game. But listen to this. I remember when the first book came up, Glamly Boy cover. Where the hell is the actual game review? When Homer's in Homer, I thought I spent a lot of time in the section nitpicking, going through every grievance I have and how this game deviates from the source material, how dated it looks and feels, and how every character just feels like an animatronic Chuck E. Cheese robot waiting for you to come by and put a quarter in so that and blah blah blah. I no longer spent in this version of Hogwarts. The more I could feel a tangible absence. There's definitely something missing. I thought maybe this was a lackluster art direction, one-dimensional characters. I can tell you what's missing over here. What's missing in your life is that you don't have real problems. Your problems are made up in your mind, and you're just full of shit. I'm gonna cut this whole thing over here because honestly speaking, I don't lose any more brain cells reading through this crap. I've had enough. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you disliked it, leave a thumbs down. Comment down below. Subscribe, all that other stuff. But I think it's time we all went out and had some fun, boys. Don't let all this shit get you down. Think about it carefully. Those of us who live happier lives don't go around with a mentality like this. We have real problems. We deal with real shit every day. And we actually know how to treat each other with respect. Not like this idiot over here. We're done. See you next time.